Alter egos. Bruce Wayne has Batman, Miley has Hannah Montana, Walter White has Heisenberg, and Jax has the funny one. These are examples of the concept of alternative personality or alter ego. But what makes this idea so fascinating? And can we use this to our advantage? Could this be the key to fix our personal flaws? Or is it just wishful thinking that eventually backfires? Well, to answer that, let's take a look at one of our examples, Jax and his alter ego, the funny one. In Digital Circus, there are three characters that are consciously masking their true selves: Gangle, Ragatha, and Jax. We know that Gangle masks herself through every adventure, including the what-if situation where her mask cannot break. We also know that Ragatha hides her true emotion as well, because she wants everyone to be happy. However, we don't know much about Jax and what he's actually like. Well, that is until now. In this episode, we finally get the glimpse of Jax's invisible mask, the funny one. The chaotic alter ego that he has crafted to hide his true self, which we will discuss later. When Pomni asks Jax about whether her friends are still people, Jax proposed a theory of archetypes. He basically states that everyone falls into a very typical character templates that serve some sort of role.
Ragatha's the cheerful one, Gangle's the sad one, Kinger's the crazy one, Zubal's the grumpy one.
And as for Jax, he chooses to be the funny one, a tough, chaotic character that causes mischief every time he can. He's completely aware of constantly performing this persona, not because he needs approval, not because he wants to please people, but just because it's funny.
I do everything because it's funny. Cause I'm the funny one!
But as the episode progresses, we know that Jax isn't telling the truth. Back in episode 5, there are two important scenes that reveal Jax's past, where Ragatha accidentally mentioned his abstracted friend.
Do you have any actual friends? Not anymore. Oh, wait, no!
And from the last shot during the intermission. The 6th episode further reconfirms this, when Ragatha confronts Jax, and when Jax was left alone by Pomni to chase Zubal. This is the real Jax, a scared young man who was traumatized by his past friendship. So Jax tries to detach his past from future attachment, and that's the actual reason why the funny one exists. The funny one is annoying because it was designed to repel anyone from becoming his friend. The funny one is chaotic because the simplest way to show courage is doing both things. If Jax was doing things for the sake of it's funny, he wouldn't have gotten angry when his costume changed.
What the heck? Who did this?
Seems fitting for you, though. I figured you'd be into this.
What does that mean? What's that supposed to mean?
I'm just having fun. I forgot you hate fun.
So what happens when for some reason Jax cannot be chaotic or annoying?
I'm so unbelievably disappointed right now.
Well, maybe there will be blood, death, and violence in the next adventure.
Ha 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 ha, how wholesome. Let's take this dumb truck to the dumb kingdom, I guess.
He gets frustrated. This is why Jax hates realistic adventures, because eventually, the adventure will reveal his real self. And speaking of real self, we know that Jax's archetype theory isn't true, even for his own. Ragatha cried when she talks to Kinger. Kinger speaks in perfect sense in the dark. Zubal is rarely grumpy when talking to others beside Jax, and Gangle's smile is way bigger than her happy mask. All of Jax's archetypes are assumptions, and all of them were disproved in one single episode. He just hasn't seen it with his own eyes. And guess what? Zubal knows too well that Jax isn't as brave as he seems.
What about you?
He refuses to show us because he's a coward.
I want to keep the mystery alive. What is this? Why'd you do that? Can you get that thing away from me?
Are you afraid of corn?
No.
Wait, was Zubal unintentionally catalyzed Jax's conflict all this time? If you rewatch this scene after episode 6, it kinda makes you wonder, why did Jax befriend Pomni in the first place? I think there are two possible reasons. One, he's trying to outdo Ragatha for befriending Pomni just to irritate her. Or, he's drunk. Well, here's a mini theory. Jax doesn't mean to apologize to Pomni. This act was merely spontaneous. It's the act that probably the funny one wouldn't have done. One thing to know about alcohol is that being tipsy can impair your judgment, even in small amounts, so you're more likely to make impulsive decisions without thinking twice. Zubal, knowing Jax too well, calmly warns Pomni to just ignore him.
Just ignore him.
This is quite a small detail, but it might be a sign that Jax has done similar things to Zubul. And this is the one thing you should be careful about alter ego. You cannot fully rely on it, especially if your mental judgment is compromised. Maintaining an alter ego requires constant mental energy, a resource that can only be acquired by a sober mind. And if you're doing this constantly, it can make you mentally exhausted, and that's why near the end of Fast Food Adventure, Jax was extremely burned out. Despite every torment Gangla has put him, Jax holds on to his dear life that his mask doesn't crack. After Zubul's bar adventure, Jax hasn't fully realized what he has caused, not even until the very end of the episode.
You know, getting close with Pomni to corrupt her.
If that isn't guilt-driven hate, I don't know what is. Although fights often happen through intentional attempts of violence, fights also happen through conflicting assumptions, and this scene is a great example of that. Rakita assumes Jax is deliberately influencing Pomni to become evil, or how she says it, corrupts her. But Jax, on the other hand, takes this as a blame and assumes Rakita accuses him for abstracting Pomni in the future, which is something that deeply triggers him. Rakita unintentionally brought back Jax's trauma of his friend, twice, and for the rest of the day, he has yet to carry the guilt that he has buried, a burden that he cannot show to anyone.
We did it! We make such a good team.
Jax realized what he had caused way too late. Since Jax refused to be honest with her, which what he should have done in the previous episode, Pomni stress tested his alter ego to the extreme. She questioned everything he said, and all Jax did was gaslighting. So what did Pomni do? She rips his alter ego apart. She calls out his lies, denials, and his new careless wall he just built. What seemingly looked like a happy ending at first turned out to be a messy tug-of-war of friendship validation. But unlike Rakita, Pomni intentionally accused Jax for abstraction, which triggers Jax's persona to crack once again.
You ever thought that this might be what causes people to abstract in the first place?
Oh my god! Are you seriously gonna blame me for something that everybody else did too? You didn't even know him!
A minute later, she asks another hard question that forces Jax to either lie harder or tell the truth.
What would you do if I abstracted tomorrow?
I'd move on. And probably forget about you.
And after Jax answered her, she disproved his lie once again with an unhinged surprise attack. And Jax knows well that his decision will make Pomni think that he cares. But he doesn't know what else to do other than denying her claim. So Jax resorted to top it all off with a seemingly tough evil monologue, while Pomni was still aware that it was just another act. As his constant denial burned him out, the only thing that Jax could do was to ask her to stay away. He could no longer perform, as he was drained by his own character. In the end, Jax gained nothing. He broke his character, he broke Pomni's trust, and the only thing he has achieved was leaving Pomni alone. Adopting alter ego for altering your own self is sure a fascinating concept, but it's also an idea that we should be careful of. If you do want to adopt an alter ego, start from a strong personality of a person that's still aligned with your values, not the complete opposite of what you really are. A common example of this is content creators. They use another version of themselves to make the best video they can, but they don't have to be necessarily fake. While their personality might be influenced by others, their authentic self is defined by what matches their values. If it's too different from your values, you'll feel like you're living a lie, and people will find out too. Instead of replacing yourself with a distinct persona, try to amplify the positive things you already have. Also, remember that alter egos are temporary. You should not, at all costs, use your alter ego as a coping mechanism. You cannot duct tape all your problems with a witty character, or band-aid your trauma with a charismatic persona. You cannot outrun your inner emotions, and burying them will only make you feel worse. I don't think we need any more examples, as this show has lots of it. Alter ego is a short-term tool for a certain situation, and if you don't separate yourself or switch off from it, you'll most likely get burned out from it, as it requires constant energy that your brain can't deny. At the end of the day, identities are a powerful thing. It is something that one could slightly alter, but shouldn't be messed with. Perhaps what makes alter egos fascinating was how it challenges our understanding of ourselves. While it's possible to be adopted as a quick fix, it should never become your long-term cure. And instead of duct taping your painful wounds with a cold smile, try to take your time to gradually heal. Otherwise, you'll end up like Jax, the funny one who's no longer funny.